The night was quiet when her life changed forever, though she did not yet know it. Her name was Amina, a young woman whose heart once glowed with faith, until the world convinced her to dim her own light. Before we continue with this story, my dear viewers, kindly subscribe so you don't miss stories that strengthen the heart and increase your. Amina grew up in a loving home where the Quran echoed against the walls and her mother's voice carried the warmth of. And from the time she first wrapped the hijab around her head at 13, she felt protected. She felt seen by Allah, shielded by His mercy. But as she grew older, the world around her changed, and the world asked her a question she was never prepared to answer. Why do you still wear that? Her friends at work began teasing her. They called it old-fashioned. They told her she would be prettier without it. They told her, "You're too young to be covering your beauty." At first, she ignored them. Then she became silent, and slowly, a seed of doubt grew inside her heart. One evening, as she stood before her mirror, their words echoed again and again until they became her own. She lifted a hand to her scarf. She hesitated, her heart beat faster. Then she removed her hijab, and in that moment, without knowing it, she opened a door that should have remained closed. The next morning felt strangely heavy. She walked outside without her hijab for the first time in years. The breeze felt cold, the world felt louder, and she felt exposed. When she arrived at work, everyone cheered. Finally, they said, "You look modern now. You look normal." For a moment, she felt relief, but as the hours passed, relief began to twist into something unfamiliar. Men who never looked at her before now stared with unsettling familiarity. People she once thought harmless now made remarks she didn't understand. The peace she used to feel walking through crowded spaces disappeared. She felt eyes everywhere, and in the silence of her heart, she heard something faint a whisper, "You didn't need it anyway. What you did was right." It was not her voice. It was not the whisper of guidance. It was something else, something darker, something patient, something waiting. Days turned to weeks, and problems began to unfold, small at first, then larger, then overwhelming. One, her peace disappeared at night. She could not sleep. Her room felt cold, shadows stretched in unnatural shapes, and her dreams turned into haunting visions. She felt watched. She felt followed. She felt unprotected, too. Her work became difficult. Colleagues who once praised her now gossiped behind her back. The attention she thought she wanted became a burden. Her confidence shattered under the weight of their expectations. 3. Her heart became heavy. She stopped praying on time. She stopped reciting Quran. She stopped feeling Allah's closeness. Every day felt like a spiritual drought, and every night felt like walking through darkness without a lamp. One night, after weeks of chaos, Amina sat alone in her room. The light flickered, the window creaked though the air was still. Then she heard it, a whisper, clearer than before, "You belong to us now." Her heart thumped wildly. She froze, unable to move. Her breath became shallow. The whisper came again, closer. "You left His protection and came to us." Terrified, she leapt from her bed and switched on every light. But the fear did not leave. That night, Amina did not sleep, and before dawn, she whispered, "Allah, help me." The next day, she visited her grandmother, an elderly woman with a heart full of Quran. When Amina entered, her grandmother paused and stared deeply into her eyes. "You removed your hijab," she said softly. Amina broke into tears. She cried as if her heart had been waiting to release all its heaviness. Her grandmother placed a warm hand on hers and recited, "Whoever fears Allah, He will make a way out for them." Quran 65:2, and then, Allah is the protector of the believers. Quran 2:257. Her grandmother whispered, "My daughter, when you removed your hijab, you removed your shield." Amina sobbed harder. My dear viewers, before we continue, kindly subscribe so you don't miss stories that strengthen the heart and increase your. And her grandmother's words pierced her soul. "It is not a cloth," she said. "It is obedience. It is protection. It is identity. It is the barrier between you and the eyes that do not fear Allah." Amina felt her heart shake for the first time in months. She felt clarity. That night, she stood again in front of her mirror. Her hijab lay folded on her dresser. She picked it up. Her hands trembled. Tears filled her eyes slowly, gently. She wrapped it around her head, and the moment she did, peace filled the room. Warmth spread through her chest. The shadows felt distant. The whispers vanished. Her heart felt protected again, and she whispered, "Alhamdulillah." From that day onward, her life began to rebuild. Her fears eased. Her sleep returned. Her heart softened again. Her connection with Allah grew stronger than before. She understood then that Allah tests His servants not to break them, but to bring them back to Him. And she realized an eternal truth. The world calls you to remove the hijab, but Allah calls you to protect your soul. My dear viewers, if you felt this story touch your heart, kindly subscribe so you don't miss stories that strengthen the heart and increase your. And your support helps us spread reminders, reflections, and stories that bring people closer to Allah. May Allah protect you. May He protect your Iman. May He protect every sister who struggles with her hijab. Ameen. Kindly subscribe so you don't miss stories that strengthen the heart and increase your. And